we have someone on the phone from the Douglas County Election Commission as we speak. Valerie Stoy is kind enough to join us as we approach midnight. Valerie, start from the top. What can you tell us is the problem?
Was that question to me at the Election Commission?
Yes, Valerie, it's Craig DeGrelli here at KMTV Action 3 News. Can you tell us what the problem is tonight with the Lee Terry-Brad Ashford race as we speak?
To my knowledge, there is no problem. We're continuing our normal process of counting the votes that were cast at the polls today. We had a great turnout, and so we're just continuing our normal process. We're continuing to organize those ballots and to count them.
How many more votes do you still have to count?
You know, it's really hard to estimate. It's more it's easier for us to estimate the amount of time. We're estimating another hour, and we should have them counted.
Congressman Lee Terry had said that there were about 7,500 more ballots to count, and then you folks over at the Election Commission would be stopping for the night. Is that true?
That's not true. That's not a number that we even know, nevertheless, would release in any sort of way. Okay,
so you say there's about an hour of counting left, correct?
Correct. That's a rough estimate.
Okay, that's a rough estimate, and I understand that. Do you expect to have a result in the Lee Terry-Brad Ashford race tonight?
Certainly not final results, because all of the early voting ballots that were returned today won't be counted until later in the week, and all of the provisional votes that are cast won't be counted until early next week.
So provisional early next week, and early votes later this week?
Correct. We'll do several sets of unofficial results.
Sure.
But the official results won't be shared until late November when we do the canvass of the election.
Are you aware of what has transpired just in the last 10 minutes with Mr. Terry coming out and saying that he was seeking an injunction and that there are ballots from West Omaha that have not been counted and that the counters from the Election Commission are going home tonight and this could take days or weeks?
No, we're not aware of any of that information.
Okay, so at this point, your plan is to keep counting, Valerie?
Yes, following our normal procedure.
Have you encountered any other counting problems at the Election Commission, in particular with this race tonight?
No, things are moving smoothly. It's just we've got a lot of volume because people really got out and voted, which is great.
How many, and I apologize if this is repetitious, but can you give me a ballpark figure of how many votes might still be out there over the next hour? Are we talking?
I really can't.
Okay.
It's just really difficult.
Would it be safe to say it is a few thousand, though?
I really can't say. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me ask you this then, if you would. You said early votes will be later this week and provisional early next week. Do you have any rough estimate on how many that may be?
We estimate there was 7,000 early voting ballots returned just today.
7,000 early voting just today?
Right.
Okay, and so those 7,000, give me your time frame again, Valerie, if you would. Will be counted.
Those should be counted by the end of the week, and we would release an updated set of unofficial results.
Okay, counted by the end of the week. So at this point, the counting continues. Is the U.S. Justice Department overseeing this counting procedure? We've heard various reports about that today.
No, there aren't any observers here in the office. We're just continuing to follow our normal plans, which are in compliance with Nebraska state law.
How many people do you have counting at this point?
Oh, gosh, that room is really busy. There's probably a crew of 30 people.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Valerie. For some reason, Kent Grisham, who's the campaign manager for Lee Terry, as well as Lee Terry, both stated that they've been unable to get in touch with the Election Commission. And I ask, is it possible that we could broker this, that someone from the Election Commission can get in touch with people from the Terry campaign, because we've been able to do it, but for some reason they say they have not been?
You know, I'll be honest that the majority of our staff time is being devoted to ballots, and so there aren't a lot of people answering the telephone. So it might just simply be a fact of, you know, we actually shut the telephones down to the general public at 8 o'clock when the polls closed, and it could just simply be that, you know, the phone is ringing at an extension where someone's not available to answer it.
Valerie, and I apologize if this is redundant, but you said 7,000 early votes came in today and need to be counted and would be done so by the end of the week. Can I ask you why those wouldn't be counted if the election is still hanging in the balance tonight?
Right, it's very labor intensive. All of those ballots need to be checked in. They need to be sure the signature of who signed the envelope matches the signature of the voter. The envelope needs to be separated from the ballot. So it's a very labor intensive process, and so with 7,000 of those, you can imagine how much time that takes. All of our resources today were devoted to serving the voters who are at the polls, and there's just not simply enough man time
Valerie,
to do that.
Valerie, last question, then I'll cut you loose because I know you still have work to be done.
Yeah.
We're heading into Wednesday. Lee Terry called this bizarre. Anything bizarre going on over there besides counting?
Absolutely not. Everything is just going according to plan, and I'm just really surprised to hear this from you.
All right, Valerie, I thank you very much for taking all the time to talk live here on KMTV Action 3 News. And again, we will sift through this as you help us sift through this and sort through this. So thank you very much for taking all that time. Valerie Storr.